As the Chinese spy balloon hovered over Montana, Secretary Anthony Blinken made the decision to postpone his scheduled visit to China. The stakes of that visit were high, with the two sides expected to discuss the chip embargo, McCarthy's visit to Taiwan, the war in Ukraine, and more. Now neither side will have that opportunity. President Biden promises that the balloon incident will not ultimately weaken U.S.-China relations. But there's little doubt that domestic pressure to get tougher on the CCP has intensified.
It's a violation of our sovereignty. It's a violation of international law.
By no stretch of the imagination does this look like what Xi Jinping would have wanted, especially at this juncture. Not long ago, the CCP had extended an olive branch to the United States and the West, hoping to improve relations in ways that would benefit Chinese trade with Europe and America, and allow greater proximity to its greatest political rival.
The China-U.S. relationship.
Ambassador Qin Gang had taken advantage of that emerging proximity, personally attending a Washington Wizard game and sending Chinese New Year greetings to the American audience before the game.
I wish the Chinese and American people a prosperous year of the rabbit and a bright future.
These efforts would now be put on hold following the balloon incident. Given the negative fallout that was sure to come in the wake of flying a massive spy balloon in Western skies, why might the CCP have made such a move? One possible explanation is that this was part of China's espionage routine, and that the CCP wanted to project a strong image ahead of Blinken's visit. That explanation assumes, however, that China was unprepared for the strength of the American response, something that seems unlikely from a country as militarily sophisticated as China. What Xi Jinping needs right now is to de-escalate tensions with the U.S., and serious provocations flown in American skies run counter to that goal. And if Xi truly wants to show his military might to the U.S., a balloon is too light a weight. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Chinese top leadership might not be aware of the balloon before it was informed by the U.S. State Department. But U.S. officials are confident, however, that China directed the balloon, although they don't know if Beijing initially intended for the balloon to travel south over the U.S. heartland after it ventured over Alaska. If launching the balloon over the U.S. territory was not Xi Jinping's idea, it leaves two distinct possibilities. One possibility is that Chinese bureaucrats were politically insensitive enough to release the balloon over the United States before Blinken's visit without asking Beijing for permission. A second possibility is that this was done by Xi Jinping's opposition, with the intention of further straining U.S.-China relations and making an international mockery of Xi Jinping. The second possibility is no less likely than the first. Before we continue with the rest of the program, let me first introduce you to today's sponsor, Dr. Marty. He has some very important information about our pets. You'd never knowingly feed your pup mysterious meat or spoiled grocery store food. And unfortunately, there's one dangerous food that you need to stop feeding your dog immediately. This food can harm your dog and is the #1 worst food you can give it. Many dog food manufacturers include this ingredient in their dog foods and is one that most dogs consume on a daily basis. So why is this one of the most common protein sources in kibble today? Yep, the dog food ingredient meat meal can be made of spoiled supermarket meat and packing plant scraps. Sadly, it turns out many dog foods, even ones labeled healthy, contain this mysterious meat meal, which essentially causing more harm than good. We all love our dogs, and many consider them our best friends. Many of us even treat them better than our own family members. And your dog needs a high-meat diet, which is critical for their healthy lifespan. That's why Dr. Marty, world-renowned veterinarian, decided to make his own dog food to combat against these harmful issues. Click the link in the description below or go to dogfoodexposed.com/Simone to find out more about these dangerous foods right now and what you can do to help. P.S. If your dog has been feeling tired or not having the energy it used to, this one ingredient could be the reason. pets are family members. Thanks Dr. Marty again for sponsoring this video. Now let's continue with our program. In either case, who are the people who are out of step with Xi Jinping? It's the Chinese military. On Monday, the U.S. Department of Defense issued a statement refuting the Chinese claim that it was a weather balloon. The Pentagon said, "This is a Chinese surveillance balloon. This surveillance balloon deliberately traveled across the United States and Canada, and we are confident that it was seeking to monitor sensitive military sites." The claim is bolstered by Chinese companies' own claim that they produce such balloons for military use. For example, according to the website of China Zhuzhou Rubber Research and Design Institute, it is a government-owned military research institute with weapon production licenses. Its military supporting products were used in the Shenzhou 5 manned spacecraft and have won the PLA General Armament Department commendation. It is a designated research institute for the weather balloons of all military branches of the PLA. Following the shooting down of the first balloon, the United States swiftly sanctioned 6 Chinese companies involved in the production of such balloons. According to the Civil Aviation Law of the People's Republic of China, Article 7, the state shall exercise unified management of airspace. This means private individuals are prohibited from launching any flying objects without government permission. Thus, a massive surveillance balloon sent into the stratosphere and left hovering over the United States for multiple days could not be the act of a civilian company, but must instead to be an act of the Chinese military. It is likely to be part of a military research project, and such projects are generally not reported to Xi Jinping. Approval from an organization like the PLA's Intelligence Bureau of the Joint Staff Department would suffice. But this is far from a routine experiment given its sensitive timing and the balloon's lengthy stay in the US, which led to speculations that this was meant primarily for Americans to see, causing a surge of negative opinions regarding the CCP. This is not the first time a blunder by the Chinese military, at a critical moment and in direct opposition to Xi Jinping's wishes, has left him in an embarrassing diplomatic position. In September 2014, Xi Jinping visited India for the first time as General Secretary of the CCP. This was a critical visit involving 12 key agreements between the countries, including China's commitment to invest $20 billion in India's infrastructure over the next 5 years. But during Xi's visit, border guards from both countries clashed along the India-China border. India media reported that in a week prior, Chinese troops built a temporary road across the line of actual control in the disputed border area of Ladakh and into Indian territory. India mobilized thousands of troops to the area to confront a significant number of Chinese soldiers. In a joint press conference after the talks, Indian Prime Minister Modi called for a clarification of the line of actual control on the border, putting Xi Jinping in an awkward position. Xi's predecessor Hu Jintao faced a similar situation when he met U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates on January 11, 2011. On the day of the meeting, China conducted a test flight of its newly developed J-20 fighter jet. Gates confronted Hu about the flight, asking if the move was directly related to his visit. Hu made clear that he had no prior awareness of the military maneuver, discovering the details only after he asked the Chinese military personnel about it following his discussion with Gates. Hu Jintao did not take control of the military during his tenure. The military was essentially under the control of its predecessor and political rival, Jiang Zeming's faction. This situation has continued into the Xi Jinping era, although Xi has made sweeping reforms to the military, promoting a large number of people he trusts to be senior generals, such as war zone commanders. The military is still not fully under his control. Chinese military sources have told me that many senior generals are estranged from the troops under their command. This program is not finished yet. If you want to watch the rest of it, please become a member of our website, zoomingin.tv. $5 a month or $50 a year. Cancel anytime. You will have access to my extended interviews and full in-depth reports. For those who are not quite ready to become a member yet, you're welcome to visit our website as well. We have all the shows we publish on YouTube on our website, so in case someday we're no longer on YouTube, you know where to find us. Oh, you can simply donate to us on our website too.